We in the building. TPSGL is ready to go. I want all the smoke. Let's do this.
What's going on, everybody? How are we doing today? Thank you for joining us here on another edition of NCOPD Live. So, the guest that we are bringing y'all today is the one and only, all right? The one and only retired Sergeant Major Ike Harris. All right, now, I don't need to talk him up because everybody know who he is. This is that leader, that has that image that people just say, you know what? I want to be like him. So today we're going to be talking about 30 years of leadership experience. Like, this is a rare opportunity that we have today to get a leader of this magnitude to come on and just talk about their leadership experience and how they've seen things. So without further ado, you know what? Hold on. Let me stop. So TPSGL had to take care of some work stuff today. Y'all know how it is in the Army. When the going get tough, the tough get going. And TPSGL is a tough dude. So right now he had to take care of some stuff with work, but he'll be back soon. And today we got Sergeant Major Harris here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring him out. What's going on? How we doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm not going to even lie to you. I'm doing all right.
Okay. Go ahead and I know your resume speaks for itself, but could you go ahead and like introduce yourself to the fans and everything so they know a little bit about you, and then we'll go ahead and jump right into it.
I had always said before that, it's always hard to talk about yourself. I was sitting there thinking like, man, I should have sent my bio in so they can just post it on Facebook and everybody can read it. And then I can just go into talking. But, just a little bit about myself. Joined the Army in 1989 as a motor transport operator, which is known as the 88 Mike to all. Did a 30-year career, married, have two grown children. Not too much to talk about. I hate talking about myself. I would tell you that over the 30 years in my military career, I met people that, helped shape me for who I am today. And I'm the type of guy that, I try my best to be as honest as I can every time that I speak. And I know some may say, you say try, sometimes our reality is different for others when they hear it from us. But I'm fired up. I really want to take this opportunity to say, hey, look, I am very humble for this opportunity to speak. I'm always looking at different platforms and seeing former leaders, some of my peers that come on and speak. And, I was told by one of my mentors is, when you retire, you got to start letting stuff go. You can't invite yourself. You have to wait for the invite. So when this invitation came from Staff Sergeant Hicks, man, I can tell you that I was blown away for one, because for the level that I retired at, a brigade S3 Sergeant Major, I always believe in protocol. So I'm humble and I'm excited, and I'm ready to get into it,
Hey,
I
the
would say this: you
fans.
can ask anything. That don't mean I'm gonna answer everything, but you can ask me anything you want. You
Okay, hey,
know,
the fans are showing you love. Like everybody pumped up and ready to hear what you got to say. Like they showing love to the shirt, the DD214 shirt. You
absolutely.
you got a couple of your battles on here. Sergeant Major Griffin, Sergeant Major Halliburton. Everybody's showing you love, but let's give the people what they want to hear. So I've had the pleasure of watching your videos. I haven't seen every last one of them. And in a lot of these videos, you always make a statement like, hey, look, this ain't for the seniors. This is for them young ones. Like, could you talk to us about that? Like, why is your message directed to that audience? Like, how did you come up with that?
You know, retiring as a senior leader in the Army, I always when I'm making these videos, I'm making them for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never talking to anyone particular, because if you start, pointing people out, that's when stuff start getting personal. I always talk about we, us, and ours, because I always add myself within the conversation. So when I always say I'm not talking to the sergeant majors, first sergeants, the platoon sergeants, because I feel, the senior leaders in the Army, their leadership style is already concreted in what they're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
So, we can all learn from each other, but I truly feel that when I'm talking to this audience, I want to talk to those junior leaders where they are trying to make their mark in the Army. They don't know how or which way to go. And so when I put these nuggets out here, I want to be able to leave them something where they can say, you know what, I can use that in the future. So
Mm-hmm.
no knock to the sergeant majors. No knock to the sergeant majors of the first sergeant. Hey, look, ain't no need to get mad at me. I'm retired anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just putting stuff out there to what helped me. Everything that I talk about, this is from my experience alone. Again, like you mentioned earlier, I'm not here to talk about NCOERs. I'm not here to talk about awards. I'm not here to talk about AR 670-1. And there has been changes, and I think changes is good. But it's always the junior leaders that always had my heart. I'll say this because I get to rambling. I would say this. The Sergeant E5 was always I always tried to invest in the Sergeant E5, because that is where the rubber meets the road. And they don't realize the impact that they have from the position that they stand in. Everybody look at Sergeant Major or Command Sergeant Major, and they be like, hey man, Sergeant Major, he got all the power. He do, or she do, because of the position they stand in. But at the end of the day, the Sergeant Major's not down there with those soldiers, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sergeant, the team leader, squad leader. Those are the ones that knows the soldiers' families, problems, and everything that goes throughout within that platoon. Now, when something go bad, that's when the sergeant major learn these individuals' names, and that's when it's probably too late.
So let's talk about these three types of leaders. Like I seen in one of your videos, you were talking about like there's three types of leaders, and I I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very interesting. Like I hadn't heard it spent in that way before, and I thought it was very useful. But like, can you tell us about these three types of leaders and how did you come to that reasoning?
So okay, so I'm put a little. Let me say this first. So just past Saturday, March 13th, I just turned 50. So, so when I start throwing out these dates, people gonna be like, this guy's old. Yeah, I am. I'll make it look good though. But anyway, but so back in 1996, when I went to BNOC, that's what it was called then. I was down at Fort Eustis. So right at the beginning of the class, the commandant came in. He spoke to everybody that was in school, B-knock, A-knock, and I think it was a couple of other classes that was going on. And
What the?
When he came out, he said that it's something that he wants to express. And he was talking about there are 3 individuals that's walking around the Army.
Mm.
And he was saying at the time, because he was saying at the time that you got the E grade, you got the rank, and you got the NCO.
Mm.
So you will have a sergeant, you have an E5, and you have an NCO. And it goes all the way up the chain. So the way he broke it down, and I put my spin on it, the E grade is the individual. Only thing they worried about is how much do I get paid when I get promoted.
Mm.
I'm going straight to the pay chart, and I'm looking at the E grade. If I'm an E5 making E6, how much do an E6 make with 12 years in the Army? That's all he's thinking about, or she thinking about. It's all about the money. So then you transition over to the rank portion of it. See, the rank portion, this individual right here, they can fool you if you're not up on your game, because I was fooled many times by this individual. Now the rank, like the sergeant, the staff sergeant, first class, they are the ones that want to be seen. I guarantee you, these individuals, they stayed the PX. And their uniform, I'm telling you, their uniform is always put together. There's not a blemish on their uniform. If you ask them to do something that's worth their while, they'll do it. But if you ask them to do something that's a little bit demanding, they'll shy away and say, well, I got an appointment or I got something that's coming up. Then you have the NCO. The NCO, we say it all the time. There's a difference between a sergeant and an NCO. The NCO, they go home tired. They worry about everything. They put their family on the back burner. They take everybody's problems. They take everybody's problems on their back, and that's the difference between. I'm sorry. That's the difference between the 3. Now, it's a time in our career where we are all guilty of being all 3. We may not want to admit it, but it's true. Now, even up, and I hate to even say this, I hate to expose myself, but even towards the end, when I got close and I dropped my retirement, I didn't quit, but I found myself being a sergeant major. And I felt like I was, in the way, because my mind was made up. I gave everything that I had to the Army. I don't have any regrets, but I just knew the way that I operate, I wasn't operating with the NCO mindset. I would still take care of my business. I would do the things that benefited me. And I was looking at that pay chart many times to find out how much my retirement is going to be. I'm going to be honest with you. So that's the analogy.
So tell me this, like with the 3, would you say 2 of those individuals that we just talked about, because you said you got the E grade, the NCO, and then what was the other one? I missed the other one. The E grade, the NCO,
E grade, the rank, and the NCO.
So the E grade and the rank, would you say 2 of those jokers are compliant and the other one is committed?
Well, for me, again, I feel that they all are committed. I do. I think the level of commitment, there are levels to commitment. Even the soldier that give us the hardest time, we still have to give that soldier credit for being committed to get up in the morning, to come to PT, to put their uniform on and still come to work. That is a level of commitment. So I would say, I think they're all are committed and, and compliant. So that's just me.
Okay.
There's no wrong or right answer to it. I tell anybody, if they take this analogy, put your own spin to it. Make it yours. But that's what I did for me. Don't, if you want to give me credit for it, that's fine. But I believe in NCOs. speaking in their own voice. You got, as an NCO, you have to speak in your own voice.
Oh, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about that. I can't let you just throw that one out there like that. We got to talk about that because, I might not understand what you're saying. What I got a feeling you talking about is that person that comes and say, well, you need to do this because First Sergeant said so.
Amen. That's
you got to
exactly
explain
what
that
I'm talking about.
Okay. Let the people know, like, they need some help. They need to understand where you're coming from because we don't want to make assumptions.
Right. Okay. So, going back in my career when I was a young E5, I go E5. When I was a young sergeant, I was stationed at Fort Irwin, California, 111 Cav. And I had just came from Italy. My son at the time was 2 years old. All of this stuff was brand new to me out in California, going through a culture shock because it's all desert. And I remember showing up to my unit, and it was 3 individuals that shaped me in that moment. And I used what they taught me throughout my 30-year career. But it was one individual, he's retired staff sergeant. Nothing wrong in his records to say that he retired as a staff sergeant. I feel he should have retired at least a first sergeant. But anyway, his name is Parcell Patton. He told me as a young E5, and at the time he was a staff sergeant. He told me, he said, whatever you do, do not let anyone take ownership of your stripes. And when he told me that, I always been like a vocal person, but when he told me that, it registered in my head to speak in your own voice. Orders are going to get pushed out. But if you are a squad leader, team leader, squad leader, platoon sergeant, first sergeant, or even a sergeant major, and you talking through somebody else, you are not leading. This is my perspective. Because if I have to stand in front of my soldiers and I say, well, Sergeant Major said, that's taking away all the power that I have as a leader, because no one is going to trust what I'm talking about because I'm not speaking in my own voice. So I always tell NCOs, if you come in my office, don't come in here talking about what so-and-so said, unless you bringing a message from them. If you coming to me to talk about it, talk to me in your own voice, because I'm going to empower you to get you to where you want to be. So that's my perspective on speaking in your own voice. Okay.
All right. So you talked about basically identifying problems in one of your videos about if there's an issue, there's a way that you should look at it to identify, like, to truly identify what it is. Like, we ain't shooting from the hip. There's metrics that we can use to identify these problems. Would you mind sharing that with everybody?
Okay. So I had, right before I went to the Sergeant Major Academy, class 67, lead, learn, inspire. I got to throw that out there. That's who we are. There may be a few of them out there. Class 67, stand up. But before I went to the Sergeant Major Academy, I had I was working in Fort Lee IG office for about a year, and I came across some information. I'm telling you, I wish I've had known this information early in my career. So I'm gonna give IG a plug right now. IG is not your enemy. I'm telling anybody that's listening right now, IG is not your enemy. If you are a first sergeant, especially a first sergeant, I would highly suggest just going down to the IG office and just have a conversation with them about Army regulations, duties and responsibilities, because it would save you a headache. But the information, I mean, when I first heard it, it was profound. And I was like, it knocked me back like, man, I wish I'd have had this when I was a young soldier. Now, I don't know if doctrine changed from the time that I was in the IG office, but I remember they had these topics of trying to find out the root cause. And it was can't comply, won't comply, and don't know. Think about it. Can't comply, won't comply, and don't know. And the reason why I say I wish I had known this early in my career, and I hope somebody gonna pick this up and put it in a tool bag, because it's gonna help you, it's gonna save you headache when you get upset about certain things. Because I would tell you, I was one that I used to fly off the handle. I talk loud naturally, so everybody thought I was mad all the time. I don't know why. But anyway, can't comply, won't comply, and don't know. Can't comply. See, can't comply, it is, from the way that I understood it at the time, can't comply is the soldiers are ready to go to work. They motivated, they are fired up, they are ready to go to work, but they do not have all of the resources available. So they can't comply. No matter what you try to get them. Now they're gonna do everything they can to get the mission done, but at the end they may come up short because they can't comply because they don't have the resources. That's can't comply. This is from what I understood. There may be some people out there like, he's saying that wrong. Go look it up.
Nah, you spot on. I just read it. So
won't comply. Now, this is when your blood pressure should go up a little bit. You know, won't comply make your blood pressure go up. Because won't comply mean you got everything laid out. You got the resources, you got the money, you got everything you need to make this mission happen today, this week, this month. Everything you need is laid out like TA-50, but the soldiers just won't comply. That right there alone will get your blood pressure up, because you have done everything you can to make these individuals successful, but they are not using the resources at hand to be successful. That is won't comply. Now, don't know. Whose fault is it when a soldier don't know? Huh?
You the guest. I can't answer this question. You
well, you know, I'm just throwing it out. I'm not asking you to answer it. You know, yeah, I know. I don't want you to answer.
No.
I'm just saying, when the soldier don't know, and the NCO or leader goes off the handle because the soldier don't know, who at fault? Is it, you know, Sergeant Major of the Army Daily, he had his list of quotes, and he said, yelling don't make you skinny. It don't. And I think there are a lot of leaders out there, they probably starting to get formed out the Army, from a certain type of leadership. But yelling don't make you skinny. If a soldier don't know, you have to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, why this soldier don't understand what's going on, especially if you're in the leadership role. So to recap that, I think if you use can't comply, won't comply, if you put this in your kit bag as a young soldier, as a young leader, and you take this throughout your career, it's only going to get better. Because we learn in stages, we learn in steps. So a little bit you learn as a sergeant. It's a little bit more as a staff sergeant, a little bit more as a sergeant first class, and we know how the story goes. So I would ask anybody that got ears on the side of their head, if you got a hearing aid on, turn it up a little bit. Can't comply, won't comply, and don't know will help you more than you can ever imagine.
So I want I want to do a little diving right quick on the don't know, right? Let's look at implied task, right? So when we talk about implied task for someone to be able to accomplish an implied task, they would have to have experience, right? They would have to have experience in that area to be able to know what those implied tasks are. So if a leader did not have the necessary experience to be able to complete the implied task, could we not also chalk that up to don't know?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Because here's the thing. And you know, I think we hit on this last night, and I don't know if you had this coming up, but anyway, we're gonna talk about
it's good. We could do it. Go ahead.
I think that we as leaders, especially young leaders, some senior leaders, I think we have to understand that leadership is not an assembly line. It's not it's not like making Cadillacs. You come down the line, you put the windshield on, you put the doors on, and it keeps moving. You cannot lead with, again, my perspective, you cannot lead with the mindset of an assembly line, meaning that you can work everybody the same way. So this is where the don't come in. This is where the don't know comes in at, because believe it or not, I think for the most part, the reason why some soldiers fail is because of sense of pride. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have a group of soldiers and you put out a task and there's 10 soldiers standing there and you talking to the whole group, and at the end you say, okay, everybody got it. It's always going to be one that don't understand what's going on, but they're not going to expose themselves because there's a sense of pride. But if you take that soldier off the assembly line and have an intimate conversation with this soldier, then you can find out where the soldier is strong at and where the soldier is weak at. Because I learned this. I'm telling you, I learned this in basic training. 1989. I'm gonna give you my first analogy, my first metaphor. I remember this in 1989 when I was at Fort Dix, New Jersey, and we was on the grouping and zero range. This is when I learned that everybody have a different point of view. So if I take back then we had iron sights. That M16 is about long as a fishing pole. That's how that thing was long, man. I'm telling you.
I know.
But we used to have iron sights, and that thing was battle sight zero. I forget what it's called. You know, it's been a while. Don't hold me to it. But if me and you would take that M16 and both of us shoot at the target, the zero target, we both gonna hit it at different places. So with that analogy alone, when you dealing with people, everybody see things different. Now, there's some people that they shot group is kind of close, but 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be a little bit apart. So when you giving out information, it's gonna be a whole lot of head nodding. Roger son, but it's also gonna be, I don't know what he talking about. So when you're doing applied tasks, you got to make sure that you are speaking in a language that everybody understands where you come from. A little bit of transparency for me. You know, I used to hate the way that I sounded when I talked to soldiers, and it messed with my confidence a little bit. Because I would tell you right now, if you're not from North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, right now, some of this stuff I'm saying, you probably don't understand what I'm talking about. I talk fast and my words merge together. But I had a leader that tell me, young in my career, he said, hey, be yourself. Don't try to be nobody else, but be yourself. As long as your soldiers understand what you are talking about, you are going to be okay. So I always say, if you're talking with $25 words to a $5 crowd, it's just going to sound like Charlie Brown. Womp, 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 womp. And all they're going to be saying is, yes, sir, yes, sir. And then when you walk off, everybody going to have a hole in the back of their head because they scratching their head because they don't understand. That's just me.
Let's talk about trust. And the reason that I want to talk about trust is because we talked about how you'll give information to a group, right? And when you give that information to the group, you have individuals who won't understand, but they won't come forward. How much of that would you contribute to trust? Like if they trust the group that they're a part of, that there isn't going to be people picking at them and laughing at them and stuff, or, you know, trying to use that as a device against them because, you know, they're not picking it up as quickly. How much of that do you think goes towards that piece right there of like that team having that trust within so that they can all learn and grow at the same time?
Hey. One thing that I do remember about the Army is trust is the foundation. That I remember this clearly. Trust is the foundation that everything the Army stands on. And try to build trust between individuals. I would tell you that it goes back to under the oak tree counseling. If you got, I'm telling you, if you have a team, squad leader, team leader, tune song, even the first song, sometimes you have to sit down and have these conversations. Now, back in the 90s, it was easy because there was no cell phones, you know, there was really no reach out. So when you say under the oak tree counseling, you was under a tree and everybody was kicked back and the sergeant was expressing their concern and they was going around asking everybody about themselves and how you doing and are you going home for Thanksgiving? Come over to my house. If you don't have nowhere to go, come to my house. It was very intimate back in the day. Not saying there wasn't no problems, but I think the level of trust was built through strong communication. And I think, I'm not knocking the generation, but I think the conversation it's been lost a little bit because the capability of reaching out to anyone that's in your palm of your hand. So trust you have to sit down and get knee to knee with individuals. You gotta know your squad member's name. And because I have been blindsided before as a first sergeant. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna call out a unit, but I have been blindsided before as a first sergeant because I feel that certain individuals didn't know they're soldiers. But I had a soldier, long story short, I had a soldier, landlord called me on a Friday and they was putting that soldier out. And I'm like, how is this soldier getting put out today? And I'm just finding this out now. A level of trust. I'm not being the NCO up all the way because the soldier got responsibility too to let people know what they are going through. But if the soldier don't trust the NCO, they're not going to give it up.
There it is. And, you know, this takes us right into our next topic, passion versus compassion. I think trust ties right into that. Like one of my favorite authors like to say that nobody cares about what you know until they know how much you care. And, you know, I think this ties right into the passion versus compassion piece. And I know you got something for this one, but go ahead. What do we got on this one?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. What you just said about soldiers don't care what you know, they only care that you care for them. I could honestly say I pinned on Sergeant E5 stripes in April 1st, 1994. That's my date of rank. That's the first time I put on sergeant stripes. That's a long time being an NCO. But when I first heard that statement that soldiers don't care what you know, they only care that you care for them, I took hold of that and kept it with me, because I want the soldiers to understand no matter what we going through, I'm gonna be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm gonna be tough. Now that's where we go into this passion and compassion. Sometimes love is tough, but it's still love. Passion and compassion, you know, I want a leader to be passionate. I do. Now, when we say passionate, some people think that, you know, hey, that they too fired up, they show emotions too much. What they crying for, they always mad. But I love a passionate leader, because you know what? They care about what they do. Look at any passionate leader that they always say talk about sports. When I seen that documentary, the last dance with Michael Jordan, and everybody talk about that piece when he was talking about, if you don't want to play that way, don't play that way. And he had to cut from the camera because he got emotional. See, that's passion. Right there alone, that is passion. And that's what makes winners. I'm telling you, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, I'm telling you right now, go to S1, put in a 4187, and go home. That's my perspective on it. Now, compassion, it is almost, I don't want to say it's a complete opposite, but compassion, it has you working in being very intimate, because compassion goes back to that 14, that 14, how do you measure your leadership? Between your head and your heart, 14 inches. That's where compassion come in, because sometimes you're going to lead with your heart, and your heart going to tell you the right thing to do. Because sometimes every soldier don't need to go to the field. Now I know some may say, "You killing me, guy. Hey man, you finna mess up my next field problem." Hey, my bad, Sergeant Major, my bad. But sometimes soldiers have something to do, and sometimes soldiers need to realize that we care about them. Again, to care for your soldiers, that don't mean that you gotta hug them and love them. It means that you showing some kind of compassion. I'm not saying to sympathize, I'm saying to empathize. Put yourself inside of those soldiers' shoes, because we all been there. I was there as a young soldier, a first on. I don't think that I'm gonna be able to. Oh, I ain't gonna be able to go to the field. I'm asking, can I not go to the field? Because what happened to me and what changed my leadership style was I was lied to when I graduated PLDC in Grafenwöhr, Germany. And this story always stings when I tell it, but I was lied to, and I said I would never do a soldier like this. Long story short, my son was about to be born. I was stationed in Italy, had to go to Grafenwöhr for school, but I was told, and I don't even, and then when I look back on this, I don't even know why they even would tell somebody this, but it was, if you graduate, you can go home for the birth of your child. I graduated, they looked me dead in my face and told me I could not go home. And I missed the birth of my son. And this happened like 28 years ago, and it still stings. And I said, I would never in my military career put a soldier in that situation unless the mission has to go. So that's the part of the compassion that I learned early in my career, 28 years ago, that you got to have compassion, but you also got to work under passion. Because I think I was a very passionate leader. I know some people probably on here looking at this, and yeah, man. Sometimes I sit back and I think the type of leader that I was, you know, I kind of cringe because I was very demanding. I was a fire breather. You know, I didn't let anyone try to take ownership of my stripes, because you know we have soldiers that's in our ranks that they'll try to buck up on us. But I would always let soldiers understand that parade rest, it works.
So
a little bit of at ease, sprinkled with some parade rest, we get a whole lot of stuff done. And I think leaders, they shy away from that. But if you go back to the fundamentals of leading, I don't want to say go back to the basics, because the basics will get you in trouble. A soldier that grew up on Fort Bragg and a soldier that grew up in 101st, there's a two different mindsets, but the fundamentals of leadership are all the same.
So at what point does a leader allow their passion to get in the way of progress? And I can go a little further if you want me to.
Yeah,
so what I'm saying is this is like a lot of times as leaders, we'll be very passionate about something. So passionate to the point where we miss facts. And I'll use myself as an example. When I was a staff sergeant in Korea, soldiers have a way of seeing your qualities a whole lot better than you do. They'll know qualities about you that you don't know about yourself.
Absolutely.
And one of the qualities they knew about me was they knew when nobody messing with my soldiers, period. It wasn't happening. When nobody training my people, I was training my own people. These are my soldiers. If you got something, you bring it to me. Right. So my first week in the unit, one of the soldiers figured this out. And soldier comes over to the motor pool, Sergeant Green, this NCO just came in here, said X, Y, and Z. We sorry, we lazy. We ain't fixing they stuff, yada, yada, whatever. I'm a shop foreman. So I go right to his platoon sergeant. I don't know this dude. I'm like, hey, Sergeant, Sergeant so-and-so belong to you? He's like, Roger. I'm like, well, you tell him this. I don't know what y'all was doing before I got here, but it ain't happening again. If he ever comes back to my shop and disrespect one of my soldiers, y'all ain't got to worry about getting nothing fixed over here in the motor pool. And this is Sergeant First Class I'm talking to. Right. I leave. I go back to my shop. The Sergeant First Class was just staring at me. That's E5 came over there. You know, I told him what time it was and he left. But I allowed my passion to get in the way of finding facts. And I didn't do anything like illegal or immoral or anything like that. But right. that interaction could have went differently if I had a little bit more self-awareness about myself and I didn't allow my passion to take over.
See, I think our passion it scales downward as you mature more. You know, because I think being a young leader, you are operating under a direct mindset. Excuse me. You are always operating under a direct mindset. And every leader loves ownership. So that's how we get blinded by, these are my soldiers. Mm-hmm. These are mine. Do not touch mine. So you can have a soldier like you said, and you are absolutely correct. You can get blinded by your passion listening to your soldiers, because it's always three sides to the story. The soldier gonna give you, I'm telling you, the soldier gonna give you their side. And if you're not operating in the mindset of let me get the facts first, you're gonna blow up. And then you got to go back and you got to fix stuff, and it's hard to apologize. And you know, now you're looking sideways, and you feel like your leadership has been shaken. But I always say, before you fly off the handle, make sure you have all of the facts, because it's always three sides to the story. I always say towards the end of my career, if I'm going through something with a soldier, go get the other soldier. Let's go talk to this person, because I want to hear it all. Because we're going to make our assumptions just because of X, Y, and Z. We're going to be like, oh, he guilty. Oh, they guilty. Then you listen to the story, you be like, oh, that's how it happened. Then you can make your honest assessment.
Mm-hmm. So let's move on to your leadership philosophy. Once again, another another fantastic thing that I had never heard anybody put it this way. Your leadership philosophy of love. Could you explain that to everybody?
So man, I don't know what's going on in my throat tonight. But so my mom, you know, I know everybody mom is near and dear to them, especially if they still here living. But me and my mom, we talk about twice a week. And my mom, if y'all think I'm fired up, my mama is something else. But she told me a long time ago that you shouldn't like people. And I was like, Mom, why you say it like that? I said, that's not right. And she was like, well, son, I'm just telling you what God's word is. You shouldn't like anybody, but because you should love everyone. Because if you like someone and they do you wrong, it's hard for you to forgive them. But if you love them, love conquers all. So in that moment, I took what she said and I started building my leadership philosophy. Little did I know, when I got to the Sergeant Major Academy, it was a block of instructions where they were saying at the time that Sergeant Majors should have a leadership philosophy, where all leaders should have a leadership philosophy. That was our assignment. So I had went to my apartment that night working on the assignment, and it jumped to me. I said, love, show love, share love, and spread love. And I'm not talking about the love between mother and daughter, father and son, brother and sister. That's not the love that I'm talking about. The love that I'm talking about is loyalty, obligation, versatility, and engagement. Loyalty, obligation, versatility, and engagement. That's the love that I'm talking about. Because if you showing love, sharing love, and spreading love every day you go to work, I'm telling you, it's going to change your mindset, because everybody wants loyalty. Loyalty hard to find. It's hard to find. We've been in units. Let's be transparent. We have said it ourselves, wearing stripes. Hey, man, I hate this place, man. That man, I can't wait to our PCS. But you wearing stripes. You part of the problem. If you walking around as a leader talking about you hate this place and you the platoon sergeant, guess what? You part of the problem. There's no loyalty. It's almost on every award that you get. To the unit, to himself, to the unit, and to the United States Army. Obligation. Obligation is a duty. You have to be obligated every day that you get up and come to work. Every day, especially if you wearing stripes. There is no days off if you wearing stripes. If you are, it goes back to being an NCO. You go home tired, you wake up tired. That is what we are obligated to do every day. You wanted to be an NCO, you signed up for this. It's your duty, it's your obligation to get out there in front of them soldiers and lead. That's the obligation. Versatility. If you think you're going to be a one-dimensional soldier and think you're going to move up in the ranks, you are fooling yourself. Keep on standing around talking about, well, that's not my job. I don't supposed to do that. That's not my MOS. And then you sit back and you wonder, how that guy get promoted? How did that person get promoted? He showed versatility. That's how he got promoted. That's how they got promoted, because they were not one-dimensional. And we hear leaders all the time. I'm not doing that, man. That's not my job. Okay. Harris to do it. I'll get it done for you. You want me to crawl through the mud? Oh man, I got my best uniform on today. But guess what? I can get me a nut. Clothing allowance coming up in September. See what I'm saying? That's being versatile. But a lot of leaders, they want to stay clean all the time. They don't want to show no versatility. They want to walk around all day, go to the PX, sit in the food court, tell all of these stories, get back late from lunch. You tell them something to do. That's not my job. Not showing no versatility. And then lastly, engagement. If you're not engaged in what you are going, if you're not engaged with your soldiers, finding out what's going on, this is part of the reason why soldiers do not talk to their leaders, is because they are not engaged. Again, if you're not engaged in what you are doing, go to S1, get you a 4187, and go home. That's the, hey, I'm not on here to talk. I don't want anybody to think I got it all right. Let me, because I know I speak with a very, very direct tone. I sound like that if I'm trying to sell you a car, I'm gonna put you in it. But I didn't get it right. I messed it up until I walked off the field. It was some things that I don't believe in failure though. I believe that failure is learning block. If you're a leader and you are frozen in what you are doing, you will never succeed. That's the part of being engaged. Go out there and fail. The greatest player of all time, the greatest basketball player of all time. And I know I'm finna cause a riff right now, but it's Michael Jordan. All right, whatever, LeBron fans, whatever. The greatest player of all time to play basketball, Michael Jordan, said it best. I don't know the exact words, but he was talking about all of his failures is the reason why he succeeded. So that is my leadership philosophy. Show love, share love, and spread love. I just hope that one person used it. I just hope one person used it within their ranks. Give me some credit. Flip it and make it yours. But give me a little credit. Come on, man. Can I get a little credit? I just want a little bit. That's all. They say old soldiers never die. They just fade away. This is how soldiers fade away if you keep their name going. Just keep a name in the ranks a little bit. That's all I'm asking. That's it. But that's my leadership philosophy. Just having fun with it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got time to go ahead and hit our last 2 points.
Man, no, I went by fast, man. I was worried about not having enough to say.
Well, you
can go long if you want. That's up to you.
Hey, when you drop gems like this, we go, it rolls by. So you talked about the 10% rule, talk to us about that. Like, give us some stuff to put into our little toolkit about this 10% rule.
10% rule. No matter what we do in life, not even in the Army, in life, the 10% rule is always in full effect. From the time you was in basic training, from the time that you went to NCOPD schools, from the time you was squad leader, platoon sergeant, first sergeant, sergeant major, whatever, the 10% rule remains true to this day. What am I talking about? If you got 100 people in your company, there are 10 soldiers that would not care 1 ounce about what you're talking about. You can talk to you blue in the face and they will look at you like a deer in headlights because they do not care about what you're talking about. That's just the rule. There are going to be 10 soldiers within your company that's always getting in trouble. Article 15, extra duty, missing formation, missing work. Always going to be 10 soldiers that's going to give you headache. I'm not saying it's gonna be the same 10, but it's gonna be 10 soldiers that give you headache. Now, I'm not saying 10% rule is always negative, because it's also gonna be 10 soldiers that's gonna follow you no matter where you go, good, bad, or indifferent. Whether you've been a good leader or a bad leader, it's gonna be 10 soldiers just by your presence. They're gonna follow you. Because I sit back and after I posted this about me talking tonight, I'm looking at people saying, "Hey man, I can't wait, I can't wait," and I'm saying to myself, "What are they waiting on?" Hey man, I'm not no nominative level sergeant major. I was just a little brigade S3 sergeant major, just trying to do my part from where I was at. So the 10% rule, because I was a recruiter, I went to recruiting school, I went to drill sergeant school, A-knock, B-knock, PLDC, and it was always somebody that got in trouble, even after they graduated. And I was the senior drill sergeant leader for Fort Benning Drill Sergeant School. One of my sign-off after graduation, before graduation, I used to always tell them the 10% rule. And I used to always say, it's 10% of you, and I hate to tell y'all this, but I'm telling you this to keep yourself out of trouble. But it's the 10% rule is in full effect. 10% of you will lose your hat when you go out on the trail. And it's true. It's true. I don't make the rules up. It's true. Yeah.
Okay, so you talked about, you said people were saying they can't wait, and that put something in my head that I felt that you could definitely speak to the people about, and this will be the last thing.
Okay.
I often hear people say, I'm just a sergeant, or I'm just a staff sergeant, or I'm just a private. Like they get caught up on that. I'm just a X. You fill in the blank, and that's counterproductive. So could you talk to us about that and how you see that?
So I always say this. I think we all are guilty of this. Man, I can't wait till I become a sergeant first class. I'm gonna change. Man, I can't wait till I become a first sergeant. Man, I can't wait till I become a sergeant major. So let's take the word wait. But let's say, instead of waiting to become the next rank, let's wait while in leadership. Now, the wait that I'm talking about, add an E to it. So that changed the whole meaning of the word, like a waiter. May I help you? So when you wait, you serving. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You have to, we talk about it all the time, being a servant leader. This is what I'm talking about. So let's go back to the other way. If you are not, if you are waiting for the next rank to implement your leadership style, you are far, far behind. I was told a long time ago, you have to think 2 levels up and 1 level down. And if you waiting to put some rank on and think all of a sudden, when I put on the diamond, everything's gonna change for me. No, it's not. I would tell you, when I begged for that diamond, I was over in Iraq and I got frocked the first on, and I had finished my ceremony, ate some cake, and I went to my office and I almost fell out because I was like, man, what I supposed to do? I was like, hey man, you asked for this, man. Hey, jokers come. Hey, and it's game on. When you are first on and you get to a unit, it's game. It's game on. You running full speed as soon. And that's why I tell, don't go over there early as a first on. Wait your turn. Don't go early. Wait. Now that's the weight you need to do right there. Don't go early, because if you go there early, oh, that's the new first sergeant. Now they're gonna be stepping on, they're gonna forget about the old guy, and they be talking to you. No, you gotta wait, because as soon as that door crack, sergeant major gonna call you and be like, hey, first sergeant, hey, why that guy at school overweight? You better not, and this is a true story that happened to me in Korea. I was thrown in the seat as the first sergeant, as a sergeant first class. 9 o'clock in the morning, I get the first phone call from Command Sergeant Major Fields. She said, first sergeant, explain to me why we got a soldier at, true story, can't make this up. Explain to me, why do we have a soldier at WLC overweight? And I was like, Sergeant Major. She said, you better not say it. And I was like, let me call you back, please. Because it's game on. So people, I think people need to, we as leaders we have to stop telling soldiers that they're gonna be a first sergeant when they're a staff sergeant. You know, let them lead in their positions, and when their time comes to get in the position, they'll be ready for it. So that's my spiel on weight and weight. I feel like I'm rambling, but if anybody got some questions, I'm fine. I don't know if we want to go over. That's up to you, brother.
Now we good to hook. I ain't really seeing no questions in the inbox, and we done got to the top of the hour anyway. So
okay,
we really appreciate you coming out tonight. Like, I'm blown away. This has been a phenomenal session. Like, I feel like I need a dump truck for all the jewels you dropped tonight. You know, like, I'm just picking them up, throwing them in there, putting me a little tarp over it with some security cameras, because I don't want nobody back there messing with my stuff. But
right.
You dropped some jewels tonight, and we really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and give you an opportunity to say your parting words, and then I'll close this out.
Okay, so again, I always feel that whenever I speak, I'm not saying the right thing. I try to be humble as much as I can. I know there are people out there that's watching this video that know me and they know my heart. I take being a soldier for life very serious, but I am enjoying retirement. And I'm not saying that to say that I don't care about what's going on in the Army, but there are opportunities like this, and the phone call that I receive and people call me for my input, it makes my heart full to be able to be on this platform, to be able to talk on Sergeant Major, I think it's Sergeant Major Halliburton's platform, freestyle every day for everybody. I started out strong on it, and I started pulling back. But when I get an opportunity like this, man, it's hard for me to say no, because I just want to be able to share with people that was given to me as a young soldier. And I would tell any person out there, I just want to close out with two things. I would tell any soldier out there that's striving for the next rank, continue to push. Do not stop. Do not stop. TGIF. The grind is forever.
Ooh.
The grind is forever. Do not stop. If you are doing the right things and people are coming at you saying, hey, man, you causing a ruckus, do not stop because you feel that you being unpopular. Keep doing what you're supposed to do. Eagles fly alone for a reason. You're either going to be an eagle or you're going to be a buzzard. That's all I got to tell you. Eagles fly alone. Buzzards are always on the ground, hanging around something that's dead. You want to hang around something that's dead, or you want to fly high and be distinguished. The next thing I want to add to the individuals that are on the fence about decisions. I have to talk about this because I get phone calls about this all the time. If you're on the fence about you gave your all to the Army and you thinking that your career is coming to an end and you got the time in to go to put your retirement in, hey, look, It's going to be scary, but it's going to be one of the best decisions that you made because you gave it your all. I heard Tom Major Daly say this before. We are like professional athletes. Now, we don't get paid like them, but we are like the professional athlete. We start out young and we finish young, but our bodies go through a whole lot. Our mindset go through a whole lot. As long as you giving your all at the end, leave it all on the PT track, your mind will clear up fast. Again, I am very humble for this opportunity. I just hope that I have left something that someone can use. Because either you're going to be a legacy or you're going to be a liability. And I hope that I'm leaving a legacy instead of a liability.
All right. Hey, once again, Sergeant Major, thank you. So before we get off, I got TPSGL here, and he got something that he want to say to everybody. He wasn't able to get on, but got him here on the phone, and he got something he want to put out there. Go ahead, my brother.
Sergeant Major, listen, man, you dropped so much stuff tonight. When I tell you I'm enjoying just being able to sit back and take notes. First and foremost, man, let me thank my buddy Oz for sitting in for me. I always know I can count on him. But Sergeant Major, I got to tell you, tonight you put a lot of things into perspective. And I just want to tell you, man, I appreciate you coming on to the show, sticking to your guns, man. Listen, it was awesome. It was definitely awesome. And I just want to let you know, hey, we'll be talking in the near future. I'm pretty sure when I talk to the team on Monday, we sit and we talk about our previous guests. I'm pretty sure you're going to get an encore performance. So I appreciate it. Oz, I appreciate you. Hey, man, y'all have a good weekend, and I'll be seeing everybody next week. I appreciate it, bro.
All right, everybody. That was TPSGL. He had to come on in right quick and give his parting shots. Sergeant Major, thank you again. Everybody, thank y'all for joining us here for another edition of NCOPD Live. Hey, the guests gonna keep coming and they're gonna keep giving y'all this knowledge. There's nowhere else where you're gonna get knowledge like this. So
absolutely,
thank you. And with that being said, look, you all matter. You are all important. Don't let anybody make you feel as if you are insignificant, because if you do, get inside that inbox. We'll have a conversation, and I guarantee you by the end of that conversation, we're gonna change how you see that. Life is a choice, and we are dependent on you to choose well. The NCOPD Live team is here for you. Thrive Legion is here for you. Freestyle Every Day for Everybody's here for you. Break Time Broadcast is here for you. Division is here for you. There's all these platforms who are here for you to help you in this journey we like to call life. All right, and with that being said, we're going to go ahead and sign out, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Come on, baby.